Thank you, David, and thank you everyone for attending today and appreciate your time and effort to be here. First, next slide, please. So at Painchek, our purpose is to give a voice to people who cannot reliably verbalize their pain. And we have two novel regulatory cleared products that come in the form of an app that utilizes AI to assess facial features that indicate pain and guide a carer to assess pain and manage pain better for their patients. We have the adult technology, which has been on the market for some time now, and that's mostly primarily focused on people living with dementia or cognitive impairments who've lost their ability to reliably verbalize and communicate their pain. On the other side, we've also just launched recently the infant technology. This is for the opposite, for pre-verbal children who've not yet built those communication skills. And this is very much targeted not just to healthcare professionals, but to majority for mums and dads to manage pain better in the home environment. These are two very large global markets. Next slide, please. We started with the adult app, and we started in Australia because that's our home base. And we started in long-term or aged care because we wanted to validate the product here in Australia before going across to international markets. As you can see from the top there, the long-term care or the aged care market is worth close to $500 million per annum. We're in Australia, in the UK, and we've just got regulatory clearance from the FDA for the large US market. On top of that, we're also starting to penetrate the home care market, which is almost 10 times bigger than the aged care market, because that's where people with dementia want to live, and that's where governments are funding care for the home environment. So these are two very big markets, and we're already penetrating both of those. Next slide, please. As David mentioned, we now have 115,000 annual licenses with clients. Many of them are 2 and 3 year contracts, mostly in aged care. And those 115,000 licenses relate to 5.6 million in ARR when they're all fully implemented. We've also got a very strong pipeline, which was valued about $2.1 million coming in the next 2 quarters. As David mentioned, we've got 15 million pain assessments. We document every pain assessment, and we've done that across more than 150,000 residents. And we've got contracts and licenses now, not just in aged care, but also in home care, in disabilities, and some initial hospital contracts. So it shows the depth and the breadth of the Painchek technology and the global opportunity. Next slide, please. We did receive FDA clearance. It was a 4-year program. Painchek Adult is now regulated in the United States as a de novo device. And FDA de novo basically means exactly that. It means we're a first of a kind. We're the first product in the market in the United States to assess pain for people living with dementia. It's a new classification and it's a new product code in the United States. What does it mean? Well, it means we have access to a very large market. The initial market's valued at around $175 million per annum. And as I said before, we're the only medical device actually regulated for that sector. It also gives us some significant competitive barriers. To get FDA clearance, you have to run a successful study in the United States on American populations. The AI has to be validated, and that's a very complex process, along with all the cybersecurity and all other elements. So we've estimated that for somebody to try to copy what we have or try to replicate what we have would take at least 5 years to go through the similar process. And on top of that, we have a US patent protection until 2038, and we have copyright on our technology. And those patents are actually global as well as the copyright. So we're in a very, very unique position. And thirdly, what does FDA clearance mean? It also means in the United States, we can use that FDA clearance as a predicate to apply now for the home care sector and the hospital sector. And I can tell you the home care sector, there are 3 million people living at home in the United States living with moderate to severe dementia, which is probably 3 times the size of the first market we're in, which is the long-term care market. Next slide, please. So what is that first market? Well, the first market we focus on in the United States is called the skilled nursing market, where there's 1.6 million nursing beds, and around 50% of the residents there have Alzheimer's or other dementias. And that's our first focus. Secondly, will be the assisted living sector, where there's 1.2 million beds, and about 40% plus have moderate severe cognitive impairments, and 11% have dementia. So really big focus for us to get and deliver on that massive market opportunity. Next slide, please. So 1 week after we got the regulatory clearance, we also signed up our first client in the US, in New Jersey, the Jewish home family. In fact, they've been knocking on our door for 2 years asking for the product. We secured the first sale there. We've deployed it. We've implemented it. It's a 3-year contract across their 200 beds. This is some photographs of the training sessions we ran in New Jersey just last month, and a quote from Carol Silver-Elliott, who is the president and CEO. It's also a great reference site for us because Carol Silver-Elliott is actually the ex-president of the leading age group across all of the United States, and she's one of our biggest supporters. So reference groups are very important. We'll build those reference groups, and those reference groups will continue to expand us across the United States. Next slide, please. We also did in last month, and I was there. We attended 2 of the biggest conferences in the United States. We gambled on getting the clearance. We built all the technology, all the collateral, our booths. We attended both Las Vegas conference in October and the Leading Age conference in Boston in November. More than 10,000 potential clients attended those 2 conferences. You can see some shots here of our team in the United States now, some of our branding, which is very much focused on our FDA clearance. And we've gained from that around 200 customer interactions and unique leads. And we continue to expand our partnerships in the US. Also, if you look top right here, that's Carol Silver-Elliott. She is the CEO of New Jewish Homes, and she presented at one of our launch conferences in Boston as well. Next slide, please. So if you look at this is Painchek globally for our adult product and the dementia focus. We are a global business now. We're in Australia and New Zealand. We have more than 30% of the Australian market contracted to us across the 200,000 bed market. We've got a strong presence in the UK with close to 10% penetration of a 500,000 bed market and growing. And now we're in the United States and Canada. The US is a 3 million bed market. Canada's a 300,000 bed market. We have sales in Canada. We've got integration partnerships with Point Click Care for Canada and the US, and we've now started selling in the United States. And those partnerships give us access to more than 2 million of the 3 million beds in the United States. On top of that, we're very close to completing our clinical study in Germany, and we have a German product ready to go into the market under CE mark clearance. And we're going to use the US data, the FDA data, to now approach Japanese regulatory bodies and get regulatory clearance for Japan, which is the second largest aged care market in the world. So this is a global business, very well penetrated and with global presence already. Next slide, please. So I'm going to move now to the infant product, and our infant product it's all about making infant pain visible, making it visible for carers to manage pain better for their children in all environments. It's a significant large market. There's 400 million pre-verbal children living in the world at any one time. And our initial focus is the 150 million born each year to first-time parents. That's the infant market. And the first product is for kids aged between 1 to 12 months of age. Next slide, please. So this is the look and feel of the product. It's a real consumer-focused product. It's a very simple process. It's a 3-second analysis of the child's face, and we pick up the indicators, the 6 indicators of pain for an infant, and document it automatically for the parents or the carer to actually manage care. We document the historical pain events, we document the treatments, and all the trainings built into the technology. So it's great for a family member to manage care at home and to present all the results to their GP or the doctor when visiting afterwards. Next slide, please. Our markets are threefold. We see the biggest opportunity on the left side here, the consumer market, and that's mostly parents with their children at home. In the middle, we see obviously very good opportunities in pediatric wards and various sectors of hospitals and GPs who would use this technology as well, but also to get the healthcare professionals to be recommending the product to family members. And thirdly, we're working on a number of partnerships in terms of working with baby monitor organizations, with big pharmaceutical who provide the drug delivery, the pain relief technology, to create a pain care system where we do the diagnosis, they do the treatment, and then we do the monitoring. And these three factors are being driven all at one time. Next slide, please. As of September, we launched the product. It's on the Apple Store. It's on the Google Play Store as well. We had 367 downloads as of September 30th. We now have more than 500 downloads, and we're monitoring how that's working with those clients. And these are mostly parents work with very young children. And that's in Australia only so far. And once we put it right here, we've made some corrections. We'll then go globally. Next slide, please. So one thing we have done as well is we've worked with a group called CPR Kids Australia. This is a group of pediatric nurses. They love the product. They've come and looked at what we're doing. We've had some meetings with them, and they've worked with us on education. And one thing we're doing with the app as well now is we're creating 3 versions of the app. They're all 1-year subscription profiles, but they have different educational models. So our goal is to not just provide the app for parents to use through that first year of life of their infant, but also to give them the educational tools, things like how to manage immunization, how to manage teething, this thing called purple crying, where kids cry a lot between 2 weeks and 5 months of age, so they can deliver better care to their children. And finally, next slide, please. This is a summary really of what we're doing. This is this is what the forward-looking elements. So 3 focuses for us. We're going to really build our US market entry and penetrate towards that 10% level in the United States, which we've achieved in Australia and the UK already, and expanding to home care. We're going to continue to grow middle pillar, our business in Australia, New Zealand, and enter into the German markets. And finally, on the right-hand side, expand the infant product into other markets such as UK and Canada early next year, and also launch some new technologies. We've got a toddlers version, which is for kids between the age of 1 to 3. That's coming out next year. We have a vocalization technique to differentiate between a cry of pain and no pain using the microphone on a device, a mobile phone, and we have a disabilities prototype coming out in conjunction with the West Australian government. So that's the focus for the future, but we're also in a very good position today. And I'll hold it there.
Thanks, Philip. Great presentation. A lot being done this year, clearly, and a big year ahead. Probably an obvious question. What are the next steps for scaling Painchek in the US now that FDA clearance and final first customer onboarding are complete?
Well, we attended those 2 conferences. We built a team in the United States, mostly based on the East Coast. Our big focus in the United States will be Northeast, because that's where 60% of people living with dementia in aged care facilities actually live. It's very regionalized. And we built a team in that period. We've got people in New York, we've got people in Boston, we've got somebody just over across. We've actually moved one of our top guys from Australia across to head up the Canadian business as well. And that team is working together to attack the North American market. That's both Canada and the United States, but very much focusing on that Northeast, where the majority of people live with dementia, either in aged care or living in the home environment.
And how important are CMS reimbursement pathways, and where do they sit in your commercial timeline?
Well, being a regulated device, as you can see there, bottom left there, CMS reimbursement is one of our goals. Being a regulated device now, every regulated cleared device in the United States automatically goes through a CMS reimbursement review. It's a black box process. Yeah. So we will be reviewed for reimbursement over the next 3 to 6 month period. We don't control that. That's done automatically. And either we get a reimbursement code, or if that doesn't happen in the first instance because we're novel and there's no reference point, we will then apply for one. So yes, very important. But we believe there are some CPT codes that we could access already, being a product that helps monitor pain. So we believe there are a number of areas that we could actually penetrate automatically. So we're working on those.
And you did touch on integration partnerships during your presentation. The question that's just come in is how important or how do, sorry, integration partnerships with Point Click Care, Eldermark, and Yardi support rapid US penetration?
Well, between point click care dominate the long-term care market, and companies like Yardi are new clients. We have partnerships and integration agreements with both those two, and they focus on the long-term care sector. So, like Australia, we have like 15 partnerships for integration partners. We've got those two already working, and we've got Eldermark being established. Now, Eldermark are mostly in the memory care units, which is a step down unit from, say, a skilled nursing facility. The difference between the United States and Australia is in the US, it's a very consolidated market. Three or four companies dominate that sector. So you just need to work with three or four. While in Australia, we had to work with 10 to 15 companies because it's a very fragmented market. So it's actually going to be far simpler and easier, we believe, to penetrate the US because we don't need to work with 15 partners. We can work with three or four that give us access to 2 million beds.
Yeah, there's a question that come through, and I'm going to ask it, but I don't want you to get in trouble with the ASX. So just think about the answer before while I'm asking the question. What are the forecasts in terms of the company becoming cash flow positive? What I'll probably add to that is cash flow positivity important or scale and grabbing market share the most important thing in the short term?
Well, they're both important, but I would say the goal is to be a global business. I mean, I work for Cochlear. Cochlear became a big company and a very valuable company by becoming a global business. I could always say this: I could make us profitable tomorrow by just stopping everything externally and just focus on Australia. But then we'd be an Australian-only business, and that's not what the goal is. But as you can see here again on this slide, we believe the Australian business and the UK business will be operational break even in this coming year. We've got enough licenses there to show we get to operational break even for those countries. But we're still investing, obviously, in the US and places like Germany and Canada, and we want to get into Japan because we want this to be a large, successful, and profitable global business.
On that note, Philip, we will leave it there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, David, and thank everyone for your time.